Hi there guys, and welcome back to this part 2 of the Barton Troll Tutorial with hilarious but yet effective strategy builds. My name is Krozzfyre, this is a cast, this is Krozzfyre Casts. Now I've decided to actually play through this replay in full because it actually is an excellent use of a certain commander that definitely not BartonPL, Mr. Troll here, is using. I'm going to hit the replay off now. So the third and final challenge that I set for Barton was to be able to use the call-in 120mm mortars from the Soviet army, be able to spam them and still effectively win the match. It's kind of a bit difficult because they only come at one command point, so it's not something you can build straight away, and it's definitely something that needs a support network around it in order to succeed. So we're going to watch this match, we're going to see if it actually pans out. But obviously the 120mm mortar is only available to one commander, which is this chap here, which is the guard motor coordination tactics. Now this replay is actually fantastic because it shows great usage of all of the abilities there on that commander, so Barton really uses everything to his advantage. We'll see how it all unfolds anyway later on in this game. I'm going to quickly introduce his opponent. So this is an auto match. As I mentioned previously, Barton actually streamed all three of these games one after the other and then just sent these replays across to myself. So this is his opponent, mouzzyiv, who is the austere player for us now. He's going to be taking the central field point. He's gone for a double pioneer start, so he wanted the ability to go and cap with his first pioneer and build a building then with his second pioneer. It's okay. I mean, it's more effective as Soviet because the building takes so much longer to actually build. But we'll see what he wants to be doing with these these double pioneers, and see if it turns into anything spectacular. Anyway, I'm going to turn back over to Barton. He is going to be our protagonist of the evening. So he's gone just straight up into tier 1, started off capping down. He's got a sniper out first thing. Obviously seen briefly in that other replay that he can use snipers very well, and especially on this map, so he knows the different areas where you can hide and like shirk away your snipers to avoid any incoming fire. He's decided to go for this right hand side, so he's capping up this point. I'm going to see this next point. He's actually going to go for the victory point. But if he's able to, he can control this munitions point as well. This play doesn't feature munitions that heavily. If you think about it, the only thing a sniper has munitions wise is the flare, which is fantastic, but it's 60 munitions and you don't really need to use it that often, to be fair. But obviously you might want to upgrade his engineers to flamers, and if he's got that extra munitions point over there, the higher income of it will be useful to him. So this sniper is now finding himself a little bit out of position. He's got the pioneers coming in. He unfortunately missed, well, his partner missed the shot. He's going to have to back out of there. Scout Car is now out. Yeah, he's been forced to retreat, which is nice aggressive play there from mouzzyiv. But unfortunately, these pioneers are going to encounter the Scout Car and not really do enough damage against it to warrant staying and taking lots of bullets in the face. Meanwhile, the engineers at top are still capping away, and so he's able to secure himself a nice little bit of income, which isn't easily available to harass if he can barbed wire off this area. But unfortunately, he doesn't have control of his fuel. So again, in terms of this strategy, fuel isn't that hugely important for Barton. However, it's more about denying his opponent fuel than occupying it himself. That's more important generally. We can see that the Grenadiers are coming up through here, and he wasn't able to barb wire it off, so they should be able to push off his engineers. The sniper, now with in the cover of the scout car, is able to have the movement and the ability to just nip in and out of combat and take pot shots as and when he wants. Now, an important note for the newer players who are using scout cars and snipers: the sniper is much less accurate when you're actually moving the vehicle. He's managed to get that shot off there, but if you time your reload and pause before you actually take the shot, you're much more likely to land the hit. So you can see the Panzerfaust. I thought he was going to go for the Panzerfaust. It turns out he's going to retreat before that can go off, and he does manage to take out one guy on retreat as well. He's getting a second scout car out for his other sniper. And now immediately what should be happening in mouzzyiiv's head is, I need to get tier 2 as soon as possible, or tier 1 depending on how you look at it, simply because he's going to want to get a scout car out to counter their scout cars and also to counter the snipers. It's the one unit that can counter both. But switching back on over to Barton, we're going to see how he pushes it back forward with this as well. Something that's interesting to note is that the your sniper it does lose some efficiency when it loses its partner, because the partner no longer fires. But I mean, the other partner isn't firing a sniper as well. There's only one sniper rifle in the actual team, so he's not reinforced his sniper, which saves him 90 manpower. And if he's able to micro these well enough, then it doesn't matter. He can keep it at just one person for much of the game if he wants. Obviously, it's riskier, the fact that if he takes a lot less damage, like 50% of the damage that would normally take to wipe out a squad, he will go down. But at the moment, he's picking away. He's got 7 kills in this sniper, and he's got a third sniper coming out now as well. This sniper has 3 kills also. So the infantry squads now, if they take one volley from these 3 snipers, they're going to have to instantly retreat, because they'll only be down to 1 member left, and obviously losing a squad is devastating. He's also able to use these as a mobile capping force. Now, so he's just hit CP1, and he's selected the guard mode coordination commander, which is unique in as much that it has, well, 2 unique features to it that are not available on... No, I'm telling a lie, I'm sorry. 1 unique call in there, which is the mortar. It's not available on any other commanders, premium or not. It also has the call in for the T-34/85s, which are slightly more damaging tanks than the T-34s you can build from your base. So they are different. It is an expensive call in, but I do believe it's actually available on another commander as well. But that one's a premium one. So it's the Faust from this scout car. And the scout car needs to keep on moving. He can't stop this scout car, so he's gonna have to micro around the trees nicely, because otherwise these guys might be able to catch up with him, get the other Panzerfaust off. If they do that, with the addition of the recent patch, anything that goes down within vehicles has a 50% chance of dying along with the vehicle. And that's a big risk to play with snipers. When I say 50% as well, we actually mean each individual model has the roll of its own dice. So if you have 6 men in there, well, it's going to have 50% chances of whether those units are going to survive or not. So it's not just the whole squad. Anyway, that Faust went off and unfortunately didn't do enough damage to actually take this guy down. He could have used the Faust to disable one of the other scout cars, but he was just losing so much in terms of infantry just by chasing after these guys constantly. We do see the first unit out from this commander, which is very rightly so the guard squad. Because, as I mentioned, the scout car is the perfect counter to these, but the guards are the perfect counter to an upgun scout car, because it does no real effective damage on them. It will pitter-patter away eventually, but if he's able to upgrade his rifle, which he has done, and get a decent amount of time on a button, then he is going to be taking that down very quickly and very easily. Just a quick note on buttoning. I actually played the entire of Company Heroes 1 and didn't question what buttoning was, didn't really care about it, kind of thing. I just thought it was a thing in a video game. It didn't really happen in real life. Well, no. Relic are very, very good at getting accurate historical things right. So for this game, if you'd seen the developer diaries, they went and actually got real MG42s from World War II, fired them off and recorded the actual audio clips from them, so that the Maxims and the MG42s actually sound like they did in World War II. Same with some of the tanks. They were able to drive some of the tanks around and record the actual sounds they made and use them in game. So buttoning, for those of you who didn't know, which was myself up until a few days ago till I googled it, buttoning is when they these anti-light tank infantry squads would be equipped with a high rate firing, in this case it's the DB light machine gun, high firing weapon to purposefully shoot at the ventilation slits. Excuse me, I'm missing some of the action just by talking here. This Grenadier squad needs to get out. He's in trouble of being wiped, but luckily enough when he retreats, the accuracy against him is reduced, so he's managed to get out there nicely. Anyway, with the buttoning, what they'll do is they'll actually aim the fire in the slits, the visionary slits for the drivers and for the co-commanders and things like that. So they have to button up and actually shut down all of their visions. They're unable to move, unable to see where they're going. So that's what buttoning up means, and then they're able to obviously target the rear armor or the lighter armor or attack it with 18-8s and things like that. That happened. You know, buttoning isn't just a game facility. Hopefully someone else didn't know that, and I didn't just waste a little bit of everyone's time. So you can see now the reply coming from his opponent is going to be get a pack gun out to try and counter these scout cars instead. Again, this isn't great. Well, I'm thinking he might be scared of a T-70. I think that might be his thing. But because the snipers are still out in the field, that pack gun is going to have trouble. We do see now 2 of the 120mm squads are out, so Barton, sticking true to his word, is going to try and make this spam viable. So these guys are going to start throwing out these high explosive rounds, which do... Look at that! Wow. Okay, I didn't even realize that was about to happen. So one shot just decrewed the entire pack gun. It was a kind of a lucky glancing shot, but that's what you get with mortars. You either get extremely lucky or you get extremely unlucky. And it's even more unlucky when you start killing your own troops, or if you lose the mortar and get him out of there. This guy needs to retreat instantly. He's very much in danger of losing a squad there from either a mortar or a sniper shot. No, he managed to get him out. And he's got his pack gun up, so he's kind of okay against these snipers right now. I mean, he could go around for a flank if he really wanted to. We do see this upgun scout car on a very nice flank coming right around. He's going to be able to take down this guy easy enough. He should be. I don't know where the guards are. The guards have actually been retreated off, so it's very nice play from his opponent here. He's recognizing the fact that the only AT on the field is not there, and his scout car can now come in and wreak havoc and start getting some veterancy. As I mentioned before, when these guys get veterancy, they start doing damage. And also taking a lot of damage as well, which is great. So that scout car goes down. He's unable to pick up any of the snipers, but he could have if he so chose so to. He pops his smoke and runs away. Pops his smoke unnecessarily, he didn't need to. And if he'd focused on the scout car there, he would have been able to take down 3 of the scout cars, which would have been fantastic, because that's 60 fuel that he would have cost him. And do the maths, 240 manpower. So that's losing quite a bit. It's not just, oh, it's a throwaway scout car. That's quite a lot, and is also reducing his mobility then as well, and the security that he has for his snipers. He does replace his one of his scout cars immediately, which I believe is going to be using to garrison these guards, so he can actually do some long-range damage against that scout car that's been upgunned, and hopefully not damage his own vehicle in the process. So these mortars are still firing away, just firing away this sort of the fuel point in general. And this is kind of the main entrance for the north player to come in. So if he focuses fire there as well, he's gonna you can assume that there's gonna be some troops coming through there at some point, and see if he can get lucky rather than just sitting on a barrage and not using it. I mean, in terms of map control, it's been it's not quite even. Barton does have the advantage, but it's only because he's had so much pressure with these snipers, which are forcing away key capping points, key capping units for the Axis. For the austere. Anyway, a third 120mm art now for Barton. I think he probably seen the 6 120mm mortars replay and said, I can do that with 1 person instead of 2. Because Barton's like that. I don't think Barton's actually a real person. I think he's just a product of a relic staff having a one-night stand with a mythical monster. Anyway, this sniper is now engaged, a nice target in terms of the Panzergrenadiers. Panzergrenadiers are able to throw a bundled nade if he isn't able to micro this away and take out both units. But it's going to be difficult, especially against Barton, who is aware of what's going on. And he's going to come and support that sniper car with his guards in the vehicle and push these guys away, probably. Like I said, they don't have enough reliable anti-vehicle to really deal with the amount of troops and obviously the accuracy of the sniper. Every Panzergrenadier is... Oh, there comes the upgun scout car now to try and save the day. He might be able to take down the scout car. He's enough going to see if he jumps out with his guards or not. No, he's going to keep his guards in there. He wanted to keep him safe from the fire of the Panzergrenadiers, which is quite a good idea. And that sniper unfortunately didn't manage to land the last shot. As he was on the move, and his actually was decreased. But now the guards have jumped out. They've noticed that, well, we're going to try and deal with this vehicle while we can. And oh, there's a nice mod coming in there now. So don't know if he actually set barrage or if that was just a picked up shot. We do see a flame half-track, which is a very good idea at this point, because he only has 1 soft AT in form of the guards. So aside from that, he cannot really damage the vehicles whatsoever. Plus, with the presence of his upgun scout car, he can defend this against the vehicle of the guards. So it's very smart play. It's a nice smoke to get out as well. We can tell this isn't low level play because he's thinking ahead, he's planning, he's getting the right units out at the right time as well. Now obviously Barton's going the slightly spammy troll build with 4 of the, now yes that's right, for now 4 of these 120mm mortars, but we're going to see if it actually really is a smart idea or just a bit of a showboating tactic. Again, a nice flank with the scout car using this opening up here. And that vehicle goes down and gives veterancy 3 to the scout car. Now that's big. The other scout car goes down as well to the pack, and he's able to throw a nice grenade on the top of it. It's not going to go down straight away, but will go down eventually. But that said, this Panzergrenadier squad is now going to have a little bit of a field day, but unfortunately it's pushed off by the rest of the more squads. Now this is something important else, important I want to talk about. Because these are obviously 6-man squads, each one of their guys is armed. It takes 2 people to fire the mortar, so 4 of them have rifles. I believe I'm right in saying that. No, actually it only takes 1 person. You'll find that if 1 person survives from this mortar team, they will run the mortar back. Again, I'm not sure if that's actually meant to be in the game or not, but that's it. It is at the moment. Now, I mentioned earlier on about Barton being able to keep these guys alive by shirking away into the cover. So he notices that this, I was actually watching the stream when this happened, he notices this scout car comes in, he tries to just jump into cover, but unfortunately he just gets picked up there. So he's going to try and kite away and hide and keep in the cover, but unfortunately just about doesn't. He does lose both of them right there. So it's a bit of a blow, but I mean, in terms of anti-infantry, he's still got all of these mortars. Now, as I was mentioning, 5 of these guys have rifles. So when he comes charging in, by keeping them grouped together, which is kind of counterintuitive, he's able to actually repel some of the invader forces. Okay, here's the Panzergrenadier squad again. So the Panzergrenadier squad is effectively running into almost 3 conscript squads. Think about it. I'm not too sure if the accuracy and the damage dealt, etc., is the same or less than a conscript squad, but it's counterintuitive because when you usually use mortars or setup teams, you want to keep them away from each other because you're going to be drawing attention to yourself. Every time your mortar goes off, it's going to reveal you on map, even if the guy doesn't have vision on you. So you instantly become a target, and the more setup teams you have next to each other, well then the more damage he's going to do if the artillery is you back, or if he's going to throw a grenade, it's going to have more chance of doing more damage. So that's why you generally keep your support weapons at least a little bit of a distance away from each other. As we've seen there, those Panzergrenadiers were easily enough able to push those ones off that time, but I do believe something slightly different happens with Grenadiers maybe later in the replay. We'll find out again. This Panzergrenadier now really wanted to get off that grenade before he retreated. I kind of understand why. It's because he was losing the battle and he kind of wanted to break even. He didn't want to be completely negative from that one, but unfortunately it's a bit too predictable. Able to get away easily enough. The pack gun surprisingly takes down 2 guys in 1 shot, so this guard squad is immediately down to about a third of its efficiency. He's going to start taking some shots at this guy, but because he's got the veterancy 2 and 3, he's got much more damage coming out of his gun, and he significantly reduces damage taken as well. Meanwhile, on this left side, we're seeing another guard squad, which has been sorry, this is the original guard squad, throwing a very good grenade into these guys. So he took out 90 munitions plus 60, 150 munitions with that grenade. It's worth it, you know. Meanwhile, these guards can pick away at this AT gun, but they're not going to be able to chase down because they're very low health. Don't really want to be fighting that fight. If he moved his sniper slightly, he'd be capping this point right now. But maybe he doesn't want to reveal his sniper because, again, when you cap things with your sniper, you're making your opponent aware that your unit is there. By revealing key units like that, it's very difficult. Now what we see is part of the beauty of what he's got with his setup. So now he's seen that there's a big blob over here, and he set up all 4 his mortars, and you can hear them going off. It's quite a nice sound, actually. And turn fog of war off of this real quick. So we've seen that there's bundle of troops, he's actually going to miss them, but look at the damage he did with that 1 volley onto that half-track. It's a large amount. These things are very good against both infantry and against vehicles. Now, he decides to retreat these all off. This is kind of not the right move because he did actually have the superiority in that battle. He could have taken down these grenadiers with the support of his sniper and the scout car. So unfortunately we don't see the true potential of all of those mortars just yet, but stick around, you never know. Engineers coming up now to cap up this forward point, so the flanking maneuver will at least be revealed as he comes through here. It's no longer going to be a completely stealthy approach. But that said, I mean, I got to give my hats off to mouzzyiv. He's been constantly harassing, getting the right units, doing the nice flanking maneuvers all game, and now you can see he's pushed back into this. He's denied this munitions over here, and he's also capping it up. But again, he's moving his troops a bit too blobbed. I mean, the mortars haven't done a great deal yet, so no kills, 2 kills, 2 kills, 3 kills. They haven't done a huge amount. They really haven't paid for themselves whatsoever. But when he's moving his troops around in groups of 2, groups of 3, like I say, it draws attention to himself. With these mortars are now back on the field. They're going to be setting up. They have a huge range, much greater than the 82mm mortars that you can get. You can hear them with their trolleys setting up now. So now he's going to start barraging this munitions point because he knows that there's 2 people on there. Happy days. We're going to wait for the nice little musical from the mortars. There we go. Now he starts. So off they go. And these troops here are just going to not really get damaged at all by any of those mortars, but he very rightly moves out of the way, because that's a lot of mortars to start coming in. So at this point, even though he's had no troops on it, he's defending it and protecting it. Now, wrongly, he decides to try and come back in and try and brave the face of the mortars, thinking, oh, I could maybe handle that. I need to cap this point up, something like that, because the point is very, very close to being capped. But he does not want to play with the dice on this one. Look, you see the troops just start melting away. This guy goes to 1. He has to get out of there very quickly, and the Panzer Grenadier is in very low health also. So, without having to be near the point, he's able to defend the point, even though it does eventually go across into the enemy hand. He's able to defend the point very effectively from a very far distance. And again, now a big push coming in the frontal assault. Whilst he is capping up here as well, he might come and just use those guys as a flank instead. The engineers are having to back out as they think, oh, Jesus Christ, what is all these guys? And can turn the fog of war on real quick so you can see what's happening. Trying to use this tree as cover as they're fighting back. So you can see he just doesn't run straight back. He tries to turn, he tries to take some shots off as well. So he's not completely defenseless. A nice button on this, so this vehicle is no longer firing because he can't see anyone because he's got his thing buttoned up. But he does force the mass retreat of the mortars once again. So, like I say, it is good play by mouzzyiv here. He's able to keep those mortars off the field. If those mortars had just been sat in the field for 5 minutes, well, they've had so many barrages off, but because they're spending a lot of their time running away and coming back, they're not getting a lot done. Do see the scout car now with the guards in it. We've had 2 guards at that as well, so you're going to start doing some decent damage against this guy, but the pack gun is moving up. A very nice fortified position now where he can... What happened there? Did he just... oh, excuse me. Did he lose the squad then? He might have lost the squad there. I wasn't actually too sure. It looked like he was sniped, but I mean, there's no sniper about. Anyway, now he's got this forward emplacement. This is the trouble that mouzzyiv has. Ideally, he'd have wanted to lock down this area and lock down all the terrain that he was able to take away from Barton. But because Barton has, again, this huge amount of mortars, this huge amount of artillery, you can see that the minimap is flashing red, so there is someone in this area at least. Well, hell, why not just release absolute torrent of high explosive mortar rounds until something dies. But he has backed out of it. So that's interesting because he actually backed out of it, but he was being capped and is now being... So yeah, that's actually very good play. Again, very smart, very intuitive, knowing that... expecting that to come out then as well. A flare coming up from the sniper. Again, an excellent use of the ability. It's going to give him vision right up here so you can start seeing where he needs to fire his mortars. And you can very easy enough now cap back his fuel. Having all this vision up here, knowing that there's going to be, if there's going to be any flanks coming at all, or where the enemies are. Again, some nice damage from the mortars, but because the mortars, because there's so many of them, you kind of have to cut their experience in a quarter almost, because the amount of targets that they have is shared between 4. So therefore, if you had one 120mm mortar out of this time, you might have had veterancy 2 on it by now. Very important thing to note is the veterancy 1 on this mortar gives you the precision strike, and it is deadly. It will instantly decrew pretty much anything. You know, if it lands anything, it does real damage. It's great damage against medium tanks as well as light vehicles. If you've got a disabled one with a tank disabled, and it's unable to move, then happy days. Now we see another ability coming into play, which is the marked vehicle. mark the vehicle on this. He does have the call-in tanks as well. So using 2 of the abilities. So the T-3485 is using. It's getting late. They're able to take down the vehicles very quickly, very easily, because he had such a huge fuel bank. I mean, he hasn't even bought any buildings outside of his tier 1, so he's still got the 90 munitions that it costs for the for that building. And he's not used, apart from, no, he hasn't used anything for his conscripts either. He hasn't upgraded any of that. He hasn't upgraded his his base healing either. He's been too busy using his manpower for other things. And you can see now, again, I've seen this a little bit in the stream, and he's kind of baiting, he wanted to kind of bait these guys in there before he killed it, because he just wanted to take that shot, but unfortunately it didn't quite work out. Forced them off anyway, so still a nice little victory. I've been watching some of my replays back. I say nice a lot. I'm really trying my best not to. I'm trying to use other words instead of nice, because yeah, I kind of I kind of spam it then, if you will. But hopefully I'll stop doing that as much. Panzer Grenadiers upgraded with the Shreks is not a bad idea against these tier 34s, but a vehicle is much better. Wow, look at this damage now. Look, see, those mortars just came in and instantly wiped those Panzer Grenadiers. So Panzer Grenadiers are no longer a good idea, because hell, that sucked for him. There's a lot of manpower down the drain, and also a lot of munitions invested as well. The mortar is going to continue to rain down in the region. So a stray mortar can easily enough take down these guys. This sniper is going to be in trouble, but he's managed to get out just in time. He does. But he is down to 1 sniper now, so 2 of his snipers have gone down. But he's transitioning into a slightly different phase of the game now. A nice airstrike coming in here. I'm not too sure what we're going to see. Wow, okay. Again, that was really smart play by mouzzyiv. So he used 200 munitions, but did take down 2 of the machine guns. Now, ideally, what he wants is enough of a push to be able to come and take down these guys. Meanwhile, what I've completely and utterly missed, unfortunately, is this Tiger in the play. So he's been able to save up enough for a Tiger. That's what he was doing. In this scenario, I mean, I don't think he was expecting to see T-34s. I think he was expecting to see Su-85s. But a couple of Panzer IVs are much more effective than this Tiger is going to be, simply because it's being ganged up. There was more intense fighting here. I think the scout car did go down, but the guards are able to hit Veteran C3 and push away more of the troops. And this is my issue with the T-34s. The ram ability is fantastic at disabling your opponent, but it just does not have the damage really to effectively neutralize the heavier targets. So he's going to keep poking away. Does he defouse? Now he's got damaged engines, so now he can't actually go ahead and charge in and ram any more tanks or anything. So he's going to back slowly away. Now this is where some of the smarter play comes into effect. He does come in and he manages to he uses his guards just to reinforce and recapture his very expensive mortar. I mean, if that were in the hands of his opponent, then suddenly the game changes massively, because if you give one of those away, it's going to suck. It's going to suck big time. And this is now Barton using his final ability, which is actually the self-repair for the vehicle crews. You have to be out of combat for 10 seconds. You can't just charge the T-34 in with a ram and then instantly start repairing yourself and be able to go toe-to-toe within the next 2 seconds. So it's good in that way. It's kind of balanced in that way. So he's got one that's up to standard now, and this guy is being repaired at the same time with the engineers, but he's not using the self-repair. He wants to try and save that for when he needs it, and hasn't got the engineers nearby. The snipers are taking pot shots at these guys, but one goes down. It's going to have to start moving and relocating, but no, I think he's going to go down. No, yeah, he goes down. But that said, the T-34s, the plus side of the T-34 is that it, compared to like an Su-85, for example, its anti-infantry is a lot better. This is what its intention is against light tanks, medium vehicles, and infantry, rather than heavier vehicles and heavy tanks that a lot of them at Dossier can field. So I believe this was the point I wanted to make earlier on. So these two guys are now grouped together. They're in yellow cover, or they were in yellow cover. But there's essentially 10 members here against the 4 Panzer Grenadiers. He does get that one nice shot off, so it's done some damage. So you see one guy goes down to the initial vehicles. I'm actually going to change back up to here though, because you see the Tiger has been repaired. The Tiger has been repaired and come back out, and I need to ram again from this T-34. So this T-34 won't be able to self-repair for quite some time, because he's still effectively in combat, and this T-34 has still got the damaged engine. Anyway, as you can see briefly down here, now the Panzer Grenadiers decided to run in. Now that was their best chance. But so many guys are shooting at him from so many different angles. Look, he's going to actually go down. So it's, oh no, actually, easy to get out. I'm not too sure if he gets out or not, but I mean, like I say, it's very interesting to see a close combat unit lose so poorly to a non-combat effective troop. He's trying his best to repair up this vehicle because it had less damage done to it, so he's more likely to get the gun firing on it now as well. We see the mortar strikes coming down on his own vehicle, not really damaging it that much, not quite hitting it flushly though. But there we go, some strapped up Panzer Grenadiers now, which is an excellent choice. You're going to have to move these vehicles out because they don't take too many hits from those Panzer Strikes before they start really hurting. So we had a lucky miss, but a lucky strike then as well, down to about half HP. But there we are, look, so the anti-infantry ability of these tanks is quite good. I mean, the Panzer Grenadiers obviously just melted in 2 shots. He's going to have to try and, he wants to try and repair this guy as soon as possible. Obviously got a lucky repair, well, I say lucky, a well-timed repair on this vehicle, so it's up and running yet again. And he's going to move forward with his position now. The VPs have been in Barton's favour for most of the game, so they're going to the tick down is going to be what 176 now. So mouzzyiv is going to have to pull his finger out if he's going to get something out of the bag. And in terms of map control, again, it's been kind of even. I think Barton's had a slight advantage, but it's been pretty much even. He cannot, look, you can actually recruit himself yet, because he's only still just recently left combat. So when his engineers are all the way back there, he's going to want to get them onto the field as soon as possible to repair this guy up. But he's most likely, this will probably activate before then. Just mortaring the hell out of the base, because he can. Because he's actually got the 5th one out now as well. But every time it's hitting the building, it's doing damage. Every time it's doing damage, it's getting veterancy and getting damage dealt. So now we see this Tiger is repaired yet again. Really pissed off that these T-34s keep ramming him. He's not happy about that at all. We see a marked vehicle going down, and here goes the ace in the hole. This is the 2nd Tiger, but unfortunately, 2 T-34s means 2 ram abilities, especially as they're now both healed up fully. So this guy has marked vehicle down on him, and he's got 2 guard squads with some nice veterancy on them as well. We're able to start taking some side armor shots at this guy with the marked vehicle on, and it's, you know, the results are there. It's kind of deadly, you know. He pops his smoke to try and guise his escape. He's also got his Panzer Schreck guys running in to try and deal damage to the tanks, but the tanks aren't an issue anymore. The tanks are completely immobile. There's these guards which can potentially be doing the damage. He's trying to use the MG42s on top of the Tigers to actually take out these guards. But he's down to below half HP with this Tiger now. For such an expensive unit, Panzer Grenadiers go down to a very well placed grenade. He's going to keep on popping away at this Tiger. A bit of a dud, looking like it fell down there. We see he's got plenty of fuel if he does manage to save up enough manpower to get another call in for for another 2 T-34s. Because what's better than 2 T-34s? Well, 4 of them. Again, he switches his focus across to these Grenadiers because the Grenadiers are doing the most damage to him at that moment in time, and there we go. We have a forfeit there. But I mean, I've got to say, it was very well played by mouzzyiv. He hung in there very well, and even though he had five of these mortars out, they weren't really the hero of the game. I think they were a bit more of an accessory. But hopefully, what Barton was able to demonstrate is an excellent use of this commander. I mean, he was able to completely dominate the map without the use of any of his tier 2 support units, tier 3 building or tier 4 building. We got to see him use each and every one of these guys to their best abilities, really. So it's really basically a strategy evolving around a commander, which is it's great to see, because you see a lot of these different hit the dirt abilities and things like that, and hit the dirt is great, especially in 1v1, but it's nice to see a strategy based entirely around the commander rather than entirely around a unit. Even though, again, that's kind of hypocritical of me, because I asked Barton to do a 120mm spam, but you get my drift. He's used everything on there very well. He's counted everything that he's come across and provided a hopefully very enjoyable cast for us now as well. So that'll be all from me. I think it's getting very late here, guys. This is so time consuming, but I'm enjoying it immensely. So please do leave me a comment saying however you feel about this video, and if there's anything you'd like to see in the future as well, then let me know and I'll see what I can do for you guys. Thanks very much for joining me. I've been Krozzfyre. You've been cool. Take it easy.